Currently, I'm on the board of directors for Little Tokyo Service Center. And this has been a really unique experience for me. I joined the board in 2000 at the request of the current executive director, Bill Watanabe. And I want to say that whereas Bill is not Hapa, he's Nikkei, second generation Japanese, his vision is completely inclusive about the Hapa agenda or the Hapa direction of the JA community, Japanese American community. And because of him, he's been instrumental. If you look at board members, if you look at staff within the organization, tremendous Hapa representation and full embracement of the issue within that organization. It's been the most enlightening board experience that I've had, and I've been on dozens of organizational boards, but this one in particular is one that I don't ever want to leave. So, what a difference one person makes, but even within that context, we recently had a joint board meeting with another organization, which I will not name, but it's in the Japanese American community. And the other organization had a board of directors that was primarily like older Japanese national males. And the interesting thing when I showed up for the joint board meeting is when I walked in, all eyes were on me. And I could feel the question coming, well, either what is she or why is she here? Excuse me, I thought this was a joint board meeting of two Japanese organizations. And so I just walked in, and I'm very used to that, and if I'm in a really good mood, I use humor to deal with that, and if I'm in a really bad mood, I do something else. But I was in a fairly good mood that night. And but the first thing they did as an icebreaker was to go around the room, of course, and everyone had to introduce themselves. And so I was waiting, and they went around the other organization's board first, and then everyone was talking about them. I'm from whatever city in Japan. I was born and raised there. I've been in the United States for this many years, and so I could feel that their eyes kind of going around the table, waiting to get to me. Okay, and so. When they got to me, I said, my name is Rika Houston. I'm a professor at Cal State LA. And a couple of the gentlemen on the other board had said that they were natives of Tokyo, Japan. I said, and we have so much in common because I'm also a native of Tokyo, Japan. And they're like, But what's really good about Bill Watanabe, I think, is that his ears should be ringing right now, is that he just let it go just like that. He refused to entertain the idea of, well, the reason she's on our board is, okay, he said, if they have a problem, that's their problem, and that's pretty much my belief too. And so, but you could just feel kind of the tension. And then finally at the end, when we're walking around talking to each other, some of those men came over and were asking me questions. None of them said, like, what are you? But there, I said my mother's from Shikoku, and we're talking, and they were very warm and open. But the initial shock, I think, was very interesting to deal with. And so in general, I do want to stress, what a positive experience I've had in that organization, but not always in other organizations. My advice to community organizations within the Asian Pacific Islander community, but also more narrowly within the Japanese American community, is that two things, and I call it kind of like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, if you're familiar with that movie, is basically that because if you look at the statistics, and I think we have some census data out on the table for you to look at, and especially if you look at the shrinking numbers in the technically Japanese American community, and you look at the increasing numbers in the multiracial Japanese population, the writing is on the wall. I was talking with a friend, Dan Ichinose, yesterday at a conference, and he works a lot with census data. And I said, well, are you gearing up for Census 2010? Because this will be basically the checkpoint. You know, we had a benchmark figure in the year 2000 census that marked that, you know, the number of people basically self-identifying as multiracial or belonging to two or more races. And so we have a head count there, and then Census 2010 will give us the comparative number. And I think the writing's on the wall, and we pretty much know what's happening as the awareness level increases. We're going to see that number of multiracial people and multiracial Japanese increasing. And so what it means for the JA community is that you know, it's inevitable, that it's not something you can turn your back to or avoid. It's going to happen. And what that means for funding purposes for organizations, for the directions programmatically, it means that you have to embrace it or you're not going to survive. But you know, so there's a cost of exclusion, a tremendous cost for organizations. On the other hand, there's a paradox of inclusion. And what I'd like to say there is that it's not enough to invite Hapas to dinner, okay? You actually have to change your menu and start including Hapa issues in that menu. So you have to change what you cook and what you eat. It's not enough just to invite Hapas to the dinner. And I'll close with that comment.